Beautiful Jellyfish, it's Tracy. Every single time I start to film, there's something that's off that I need to fix. Like, there's something in my way, there's like a pen out of place, or something drives me crazy. Okay, so basically this is Amonkhet. Okay. Okay, so I asked you guys, I was like, Amonkhet, is that how we pronounce it? And then someone commented Amonkhet, and so this set is hereby, I've declared, called Amonkhet. All I can think of are like cats like swimming in a pool of almonds. That makes me really happy because I love cats. Okay. Also, love almond milk. If you've never had almond milk, fam, so good. Okay, basically, so, couple of things before we get started into this video. I have made a vlog channel. I filmed channel updates. Watch the thing if you didn't do the thing. I filmed part 1 of this. Ow. Ow, that hurt. Oh, okay. I filmed part 1, kind of, I guess, part 1, which is white. In this, the playlist will be linked down below if you want to check out white. But today we're going to be talking about blue, and as I was looking this set over, I think that blue is really solid in this set. I think it's a really solid support color. I think a lot of times what blue tends to lack is a lot of like early game, like kind of good sort of solid creatures. Like there's a couple here and there, but not enough. So I think blue makes its place in a lot of sets as being a really good support color, and I feel that definitely in this set. But there's a lot of really solid stuff in here. There's awesome flyers, which if you know me, you know I love flyers and I love talking about flyers. But let's get into the video. So the first card I want to talk about is Vizier of Tumbling Sands. Okay, so blue has a lot of cycle synergy, So I think if you're going into that sort of thing, if you're going into blue, if you're drafting blue, if you're picking blue in a pre-release event, keep in mind this, that I think you're going to work really well with cycling. So basically, it's a 1/3 for 3, and you can untap target permanent. And I really like this ability because, you know, like, you can just have your creature and then, you know, untap it and, like, you know, have it as a blocker, which is really solid, and then you can cycle this to discard and then draw a card, and when you cycle it, you untap target permanent. I do think that it's better as a creature. Like, I think it's better to play it rather than to cycle it. I think there's a lot of stuff that's pretty good to cycle, but a lot of the other stuff in blue is like 1 mana to cycle, whereas this is 2 mana to cycle, so I think this card is just better as a creature, and also it's just every turn basically untap another target permanent, which is really strong, so I like this card. I think it's a really solid uncommon. Okay, then we have Pull from Tomorrow, and, you know, every time a new set comes out, we always have some sort of big blue. You draw lots of cards, you discard lots of cards, but the fact that this says, first off, it's instant speed. It's X and then 2 blue, and you draw X cards, and you only discard 1 card, which is really incredible. I think it's an interesting sort of thing to have in this set, because a lot of this, you want cards in your graveyard, because some of the things you can bring back cards from your graveyard, but really good. I mean, with the embalm mechanic, this is like really solid, because you want stuff in your graveyard to embalm, and then you make a thing. Yeah, it's really good. And something I've always found about graveyard synergies is a lot of people, like, if you have, like, an embalm creature that, like, you discard or dies, sometimes your opponent just, like, forgets about it. You're like, oh, you've got nothing else to do, and you're like, dude, embalm, exile my thing, get a copy of the token. Like, a lot of people forget about that. I know I do that all the time. Like, when I'm playing and someone's like, do something for my graveyard, I was like, you have that in your graveyard? So I just think it's a really solid thing to, just a note about graveyard stuff. Okay, so yeah, I think this card is really solid. Yeah. Card's good. Okay, then we have Vizier, how do we say it? I don't know! Of Many Faces. Okay, so a lot of sets have like a sort of shapeshifter-like type of card, which bias also, this picture is going to display the white, which is the copy, like the token of the card, and I don't know why it does this, but when I try to save it, it doesn't let me save the first image, so just know that it is a blue card. It just, the thing is white. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. Okay, so you can enter it as a copy of the battlefield as any creature on the battlefield, which I really like, because sometimes it's only a creature you control, but you know what? It's really good to just, you know, if your opponent has a really solid creature, it's really good to just have their creature, which is really awesome. And also what's really great about this is that it has the embalm mechanic. So say you're like, hey, you've got that really awesome creature, and then, you know, it dies in combat, or they destroy it, or like whatever. And then you're like, sweet, there's another really awesome creature that I want to copy, embalm it, which I really like. I think this is a really, really good card. Kind of surprised it's not the Mythic slot. I think in Limited, I think this card's going to be a huge bomb. I really like it. Okay. Glyph Keeper. What? I don't know how they get these names. I want to just tour Wizards of the Coast for a day and be like, yo fam, how do you do all this? Because it blows my mind. It's really interesting to me. Okay, so yeah, it's a flyer. Yes, I'm talking about it. So it's a 5-mana 5/3 flyer. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you play this card. It's great. Okay, whenever the creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, you get to counter it, which is solid because the chance of your opponent realistically having like 2 kill spells in their hand, I mean, it's decently low, I feel, so that's pretty solid. And then it's got the Embalm mechanic, so yeah, kind of a really hard card to remove. And it's got flying. It's awesome. Run it. It's great. There's always like that Sphinx card in like every set, and they're always like pretty good. Okay, then we have Curator of Mysteries, or Curator. Okay, that. Yeah, of Mysteries. I'm not an English major. Don't pay attention to me. Okay, it's a 4-mana 4/4 flyer, guys. Yes, yes, yes. Run this card. Yes, absolutely. And then whenever you cycle or discard another card, you discard one. But you know what? Even if you're not doing that, it's a 4-mana flyer. It's a 4/4. You just run the card. You run it. It's got evasion. It's got flying. You run it. Okay, and then this has cycling too. So if you need to give that card draw, you need whatever, you can just discard it to draw a card, and it cycles for 1, which is lit. So, cards, divine. Divine Reckoning. Okay, alright, so if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that it takes a really good enchantment to impress me. Unless it's like an enchantment removal card like Passivism, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like enchantments to stay on your side of the board. It takes a good enchantment to impress me. So let's talk about Drakehaven. Oh, fam. This card, yes, yes, yes. I have a thing for tokens. I don't know if you can tell. Love token synergies, love things that generate tokens. I think they're really strong. So it's a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, I really like that because of that Pull from Tomorrow card that we talked about. That doesn't say cycle, it just says discard. So you discard a card, you can get a trigger off that, which is awesome. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1 mana. 1 mana! 1 mana! To get a 2/2 thing with flying. Guys, this card is incredible. It's so fantastic. You know, honestly, I don't talk about enchantments hardly ever. So when I talk about an enchantment, you know I really like it because I think this card's really awesome. You know, you pay like 1 mana to, you know, discard your card. You get to draw a card off of the card that you've cycled, which is awesome. So you get that. And then not only that, but you pay 1 to get a 2/2 with flying. What? This card is dumb. You get so much value synergizing with that. I love this card. I think it's great. I want to run this card in EDH. I think it's just sweet. Okay, then we have Open into Wonder. So, you know something I've really noticed is, you know, sometimes in games I notice a lot in limited formats, the board can get stale pretty quickly because I've got a bunch of creatures, but you've got a bunch of creatures, and our boards are just kind of like staring at each other like, hey, I want to attack, but all I can attack with is this 2/2 flyer, and that's like on like a bit of a turn clock, you know, because you don't have flying right now. But then you play a flyer, and then our flyers just stare at each other, and then the board doesn't go anywhere. So being able to tap your opponent's creatures or make it so your creatures can't block is a really good mechanic. And also, if you know me, you know that I do not usually talk about instants and sorceries that aren't removal in these videos. It has to be a really good instant or sorcery that's not removal to impress me. So this card says X target creatures can't be blocked this turn. So you have, like, I think blue's mid-range, like I think the late game for blue, if you get a card like Pull from Tomorrow and discard, I think the late game for blue is really strong because you have those super good late game things where you're like, hey, I've got 7 mana, nothing to do with it, play this, you know, I've got 7 mana, so 5 of my creatures can't be blocked this turn, which is incredible. So really good card to break that sort of standstill that I was talking about. And then when those creatures gain, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card, which is just incredible. Like all around, I think this card is just really awesome. I like it a lot. Okay, then we have Sacred Excavation. So, again, I'm not big into instant sorceries that aren't removal, but I do like this card. Yes, it's very specific. It does belong in that sort of card deck where you're cycling a lot of things, you know, but whatever. But you're getting, you know, some of those things back. And what I really like about it, too, is you get back those cards, and you could always just cycle them if you need more card draw, or you could just, you know, play those creatures that you cycled, or you discarded with, like, something else. So, I do think this card is pretty good. Okay, then we have Galestrike. Okay, so you know, classic blue bounce sort of strategy. It's 3 mana, you return target tapped creature to its hand, you get to draw a card. Very simple, very to the point, but, you know, it's only tapped creature, but it's a pretty decent combat trick. Also, please note that this is target tapped creature. It can be your creature, so if your opponent tries to kill your thing, you can bounce it to your hand, you save your creature from a kill spell, and you get to draw a card out of it, and it's at instant speed. This card's great. I don't know what that's sassy. This card's great. It is. It's great. Okay, then we have Zenith Seeker. Okay, so, you know what this card reminds me of? This card reminds me of a card from Battle for Zendikar, and I don't remember what it is, but it's a blue card, and it's something like when you do something, you pay like 1 and a colorless, and then target creature gains flying until end of turn, or something like that. Guys, this card is awesome. Okay, whenever it's got flying, it's a 4 mana 2/2 flyer, which is like pretty okay. Could be like a 2/3, I don't know if that's too generous, but it's pretty okay. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, target creature gains flying until end of turn. So again, it works in that one type of deck, but even if you don't have the other synergy going on, a 4 mana 2/2 flyer isn't the worst thing. It's not the greatest thing, but it's a pretty okay sort of thing. I hate cards that are so synergistic that they don't work in that like deck that like isn't so committed to a strategy. I like cards like this that work well with that strategy, but if you don't have that synergy, it's still pretty okay. And that's what I feel about this card. Okay, then we have Hieroglyphic Illumination. This card, try saying that like 12 times fast, honestly, because I can't believe I got that right in the first try, because that's a mouthful. Oh, okay, fam. So, this is like a better version of... I don't know what card it is, but it's 4 mana, instant speed, you draw 2 cards. It's just better than that because it's got cycle for only 1 mana. So, you know, discarding this card to draw a card is at instant speed is really good. I really like it. I think it's a really, really solid control card. And it's only at uncommon level, so card's good. Alright, Illusory Wrappings. Okay, you know... I like cards like this. I like those enchantments where you're like, hey, nice like 10/10. It's a 0/2, you know? It doesn't lose any of its sort of abilities, so it's not like the best removal spell in the world, so it still can have all its other sweet abilities. But, you know, putting this on a really big beater of your opponents, just saying, hey, I know you had said you had a 5/5, well, guess what? It's a 0/2 now. It reminds me of that card, where it's like, you know, your opponent's it's like that green card, and it's like your opponent's creature is like a 0/1 forest, like it's just a forest. It's great. Yeah, but yeah, card it's pretty good. It's kind of pseudo sort of removal, weird removal. Okay, then we have Naga Oracle. Okay, so I really like this card. I like this. So it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, you put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library in any order. It's a really cool sort of scry thing, but you have that advantage of putting them in your graveyard. What I always really like is I always find myself unlimited getting mana screwed in some way. We all relate to this, we all know what that's like. So the fact that you're putting that sort of ability to manipulate cards on top of your library, put those lands that you don't need in your graveyard, or put those, you know, those cards that you want discarded so you can bring them back with some card in your hand, you know, put cards that you just don't need, or say you like all 3 cards, you can just put them back like in any order that you want. And it's a 2/4, it's got a really big, it's got really good toughness, so, you know, it's kind of a good wall, and yeah, I just think this card is really strong. Okay, Slither Blade. Oh, I love cards like this. I love cards that just say they can't be blocked. I'm a huge fan, and every set typically has one. It's a 1 mana 1/2, can't be blocked. Super simple, super aggressive. I love that we have this sort of really aggressive creature in blue that just can't be blocked. It's a really good early game strategy. Like I said, I feel like blue is such a support color, and I think this makes it pretty aggressive, so card's good. Alright, Decision Paralysis. Alright, you got your kind of sort of removal type stuff. You tap 2 creatures, they don't untap during the next untap step. It's very simple. Blue does things like this all of the time. We've all seen it before. We all get it. Cards like this are good. Again, just being able to just temporarily stop your opponent's creatures from attacking or blocking is really good. That's why I like a card like this. Yeah, it's good. And the last card I want to talk about... Oh, this card, Angler Drake. I love this card. in love. Oh, I love it. Okay, 6 mana, 4/4 flyer, ETBs, you bounce something. Again, you can bounce your creature for whatever reason you need to bounce your creature. Other creatures got a sweet ETB effect. Or, I don't know, man, you're running like 2 of these and then you bounce it and then that's, you know, that's pretty sweet. You can do that. And that would be so funny if you had 2 of them and you bounce the other one and then you, like, that would be really cool. That's, like, really funny. But, yeah, it's a huge, not huge, but it's a pretty nice sized creature. It's got flying, it's got evasion, which means I love it, and it's like kind of sort of removal, it's all tangled into one. Also really good if your opponent, like that enchantment that I talked about earlier, that says that your thing is like a 0/2, really good against something like that if they put an enchantment, if they put an enchantment on your creature and you're just like, bounce back my thing, and then their enchantment fizzles, and then, you know, you've got your creature back, whatever. Yeah, card's really good, really good. Alright guys, that was it. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. We are going to have the next color in the set that I don't know what it is because I just closed my thing. But whatever the next color is, I will see. I don't know the order of the colors. We've established this. How long have I been playing this game and I don't know the other colors? Yeah, that's how it is. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.